Good morning and welcome back, people. Hope you had a good spring break and stayed home and washed your hands. So this week, what we're going to be doing, this is just kind of the overview. I know it says photo B, hour three, but this is actually going to be for photo B and C for all three, for all the hours. So if you're confused, that's the answer. A couple things for this week, some changes that are going to be happening. So we're going to start doing a daily attendance. So I need you to, it'll just make our lives a lot easier for check-ins, and that way I know you're actually coming in and looking at stuff every day. So you're going to be doing a daily attendance, and I'll kind of walk you through that. There's going to be a change to office hours. There's a lot of folks that are, for whatever reason, waking up late or not checking in till later. So just to make everybody's lives a little bit easier, it has been from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. It is now going to be 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The same, everything else is exactly the same. So you can go in and just click on that link and it'll bring you right to me. So and then every other week photo assignment. So, and originally we had talked about doing a week, an assignment every single week that you're going to end up doing. So for photo B, like black and white, everyday objects, low angle, that kind of stuff. For photo C, um, we've already talked about this, right? So we kind of walk through all these different options. And so in your weekly stuff, you'll submit it every other week. So on the odds, right? So 1, 3, 5, and 7, 9, and so on, depending on how long this thing goes. So that's going to be kind of how that works. And so this week, since it's an even week, you won't submit a weekly assignment. That doesn't mean you can't take them or any of that kind of stuff. That just means that um, you don't have to submit it until the evens, or sorry, the odds. Um, so today, what we're gonna do, if you did not check it out on the Friday before spring break, I did upload a new page basically to the class website. So there's a link to it right here. Also, I would recommend going back in and watching the video maybe from Friday before because I kind of talked about some of that stuff. But in here, you're basically going to be kind of doing almost like a street photography or a documentary type photography. Is that there's some interesting world stuff going on right now, and so we're kind of I think it's important to kind of document what your experiences are, whether that's the shared human experiences or communication, or what it's just kind of like for your world right now. So in here, there's a handful of different links, resources to folks that are doing kind of similar type stuff, whether it's locally, right? So Duluth, Twin Cities, or around the world. From people that are your age to professionals, but I want you to kind of document what your world is kind of looking like right now. So some of the expectations, there should be a theme that runs through the whole thing. So like I said, human connection, isolation, anxiety, hope, disparity, um, community, etc. Right? So figure out what your theme is going to be ahead of time. That's going to make your life a lot easier trying to figure out what you're actually looking at and what you're looking for when you're taking these pictures. You're going to need to submit 5 edited photos. All your photos should have a similar feel, so like black and white, cool, tinted, high contrast, bright. You know, just because at least for photo B, we haven't done tons of editing yet, so if you want to use the filters and that kind of stuff, that's fine. It's not the end of the world. For Photo C, I do want you to be a little bit more specific in the stuff that you're doing and have a lot more intention. Um, so solid understanding of compositions, right? So thinking about rule of thirds, leading lines, things that we've talked about in past. As far as camera options, whatever you have available, right? I mean, you have to be creative with what we have, and so there's professional photographers out there that you have used disposable cameras in the past, or just their phones, right? So just because you're limited to your options doesn't mean you are totally limited, right? I mean, you can use what you have to the best of your abilities. In regards to editing software, so The school, as far as I understand, they've made it available. So if you do have your own personal computer, you can actually download Photoshop or Lightroom and log in just like we did at school. Um, you can try Lightroom on your Chromebook. I'm not 100% sure if it's working. It has worked for some people it has not. But there is also a free app on your phone. The only problem with doing it on your phone is that you're limited to that tiny screen, right? So it may look like things are in focus on your screen, but once you zoom in, it gets pretty blurry, right? So once I see it on my big screen, it might look blurry. Um, Snapseed on your Chromebook, Pixlr on your Chromebook both work pretty well. One of the questions is like, how do I get it from my phone to my Chromebook? Downloading Google Drive and just plopping them in Google Drive and then opening it up the Google Drive on your Chromebook is the way to get it that way. And like I said, you can also edit on your phone, right? So even if you don't download Lightroom or any of that stuff on your phone, you can still, whether it's an iPhone or Samsung or whatever you're using, there is going to be a way to get in there and do a little bit of adjustments and that kind of stuff too. Okay. Additional resources. So these are just some different websites of people doing kind of similar stuff. Also in here, these are just some websites for, working with composition and kind of, looking at stuff a little bit better that way too. These two links up here are links that are for, like this is actually an archive of some photos and that kind of stuff that people are doing for the COVID-19 stuff. And then this is actually more of a link for, if you're just looking to do more photography and that kind of stuff. There's students out in Seattle that have kind of made up a website, so you can go in and take photos and just kind of post them on here too. So I don't know, something different and kind of interesting that so kids just like you are doing. So let's go back to here. I think I already talked about this attendance. So every single day, like I said, we're going to be doing like an attendance check-in. On A day, you're going to be working on taking your photos, right? On B day, you're going to work on taking your photos. I still want you're going to make sure you do your attendance. I still want you to do some type of check-in, whether it's through the office hours from 11 to 1 or doing a Flipgrid. I'll make a new little Flipgrid post again for Wednesday. And then on Friday, right, taking photos, right? And then I also want you to share. So every Friday we're going to do some type of share. And so whatever you've been working on, whether it's personal stuff or even, the stuff from class, wherever you're at with that, just post up a photo so people can kind of see some of the stuff that you've been doing. But that's the kind of big overview for the week. Yeah, don't forget about the Spotify playlist. So please let me know if you guys have any questions. Reach out to me via email, through the Schoology, through the office hours, any of that stuff. But if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. You're probably not the only person that has that question. So, but yeah, that's about it, and we'll go from there. Oh, sorry, one last thing. Later in the week, I will put up something just to kind of talk about editing and some just tips and tricks and that kind of stuff. So it'll be kind of generic stuff because it's everybody's kind of editing with different software, but I will put some kind of tips, do's and don'ts and that kind of stuff. So, all right, bye.